what you lack in power, you make up for with very consistent, easy to achieve accuracy. So put the bullet where it belongs and things die. That's how it works. Hi folks, Tim Sundles here. My beautiful wife Kim is filming on her iPhone, and if you hear coughing, sneezing, wheezing, heavy breathing, it's because we're both just coming off of some kind of stupid bug. Usually Kim gets the bug first, and by the time she's better, I get it from her. So it gets strung out. This time we both got the bug at the same time. And, you know, I've been getting bugs my whole life. I'm just sick of it. Want to talk about the 243s, the various 243s. And here's my little collection of 243s. I didn't include Kim's in here. Hers is a little Savage 110, little extra lightweight youth model, you know, with the little 20-inch barrel, which I've seen her kill a bear with one shot, offhand up on a hillside a few years back. The 243s can be incredibly versatile. In fact, I think that they are the most versatile cartridge one can even imagine. I mean, they're great for coyotes. It's the perfect cartridge for wolves. It's just perfect to handle wolf-size animals, and you can hunt deer with them all you want out to 300-400 yards. You can hunt medium-sized black bears with them, and I'll tell a couple stories as we go through the guns about shooting black bears with 243s. So, if we start here, this is the 6mm Remington, which came out before the other two. My 6mm Remington, which is over here, is one of their Varmint Masters, which came with the 1 and 12-inch barrel for shooting really light bullets going fast. If we were going to compare all these velocity-wise, let's say we just chose 100-grain bullets and ran them at or near maximum loads in 22 to 24-inch barrels, every one of these with 100-grain bullets will produce somewhere between 3,000 and 3,200 feet a second. And they're all fairly equal, even though it looks like there's a big case capacity difference in them. There really isn't that much. The 6mm, which is taller, has a little more body taper. So that hurts powder capacity. The 243 is shorter with a little less body taper, and the 6mm XC or the 6XC is short and fat with very little body taper, but still holds a good amount of powder because it's fat and has a little bit sharper shoulder on it. So this load right here is the load that I currently shoot in the Remington Varmint Master, and it's a 70-grain Nosler ballistic tip, and I shoot it at 3,600 feet a second, and it just blows furry and feathery varmints into confetti. So this is that rifle. And this, again, this is a 40-year-old rifle. I did a lot of this when I was young. It's just a short action 700 Remington with the heavy barrel and the slow rate of twist, the 1 and 12 twist. And, you know, standard now for the 6mm and the 243 is 1 and 10. That's standard. And we'll talk about rates of twist later. But just a heavy rifle with a big old Bosch and Loam scope on it from back in the days when nothing was matte finished. It was all shiny finished. And I really don't want to change it. So it is what it is. It's hyper accurate. Buffalo Bore makes no 6mm Remington ammo. Now, to give you an idea of how versatile these little 243 diameter bullets are, around here you've got ranching families, and they're generally very conservative on what they spend money on. And one of the guys I used to hunt elk with all the time was born on an Idaho cow ranch and a mink farm back when mink fur was a big deal. And for his 16th birthday, his parents gave him a 6mm Remington. So, okay, you've got your rifle. That's your elk, deer, whatever rifle. I was hunting with him just as he turned 40. He was still hunting elk with that 6mm, killed one every year. If he got them, well under 100 yards, he'd just head shoot them. If they were further out, he would just shoot them through both lungs with a 100-grain Nosler partition bullet and let them run. They never get much more than 100 yards if you take out both lungs. And that was his elk rifle. And then he breaks down and buys a 7mm Remington mag. And he buys some of that Remington 175-grain core-locked ammo. And he goes, now I've got me a real elk rifle. So we go out elk hunting. We get into this big 6-point. And it's standing broadside at about 130, 40 yards. And he shoots it, double lungs it, only the elk turns and starts walking away going uphill. So he double lungs it again. The elk keeps walking uphill. And his 6mm did better than this. And so he hits it a third time with a perfect broadside shot, and the elk stumbles and falters a little, and then he collapses and rolls down the hill. Well, when we skinned out, field dressed the elk, those soft Remington core-locked bullets, and who knows what the muzzle velocity was. These guys don't have chronographs and stuff like that. But those soft bullets had overexpanded, had a huge mushroom on them. None of them made it to the second lung. They took out the first lung, none of them made it to the second lung. If the elk hadn't turned and started walking uphill, had he kept shooting the very same side of the elk would have just kept going. But when the elk turned and started walking uphill, he shot at the other side of the elk and took out the second lung. And that's just, don't use bullets that are too soft. They don't work on big animals where lots of penetration is needed. This rifle is probably my favorite 243. This is a Rifle Zinc with a sped up rate of twist. It's got a 1 1/8 twist on it in the barrel, and it's still lightweight. I wanted a mountain rifle, but I wanted it set up like a 1,000-yard match rifle. So went with a 1 1/8 twist, and I can shoot the 115-grain Berger VLD hunting bullet or the 105 105-grain Berger VLD hunting bullet. The best group I ever shot in my life with any rifle at 500 yards is with this rifle. And I sat down at 500 yards on a very calm morning when there was no winds, no nothing, and shot an 1.25-inch group, a 3-shot group with this rifle. And I thought, well, I can't even shoot that good. I mean, I'm not capable of shooting that good, even with the scope, turned up to 14 power and all that. I'm just not that good, especially with a lightweight rifle. So I waited a week or so until I had other shooting to do, and I shot this rifle again with the very same load and shot another, and I really worked at doing everything right. Shot another 1.25-inch 3-shot group at 500 yards. And I can't shoot that good. So who knows how good the ammo rifle combination is actually shooting. It must be a one-holer at 500 yards. Interestingly, I'm shooting the 105 Berger VLD in it right now, and what's interesting about that is I should be able to run that bullet, at over 3,000 feet a second, which I can, but the accuracy sucks. And as I slow it down and get it down to 2,700 feet a second, that's the load I shot those groups with, and it's so unbelievably accurate at 2,700 feet a second, knowing that I'm giving up, 250 feet a second for a max velocity. I'm just leaving it on the table because it doesn't shoot that good. That's fine. I'll shoot this the rest of my life at 2,700 feet a second, if I can shoot 1.25 inch groups at 500 yards, which I'm not that good. I mean, I'm not a competitive bench rest shooter. I shot a bear with this in Montana at, I want to say around 275 yards. And I did what I always do with the 243. I aimed right behind the shoulder and put the bullet through both lungs. That bear probably ran 30 yards, piled up dead. It's the beauty of the 243. It's so versatile and so useful. And honestly, if I could only have 3 centerfire high-powered rifles, one would be a 243, one would be a 30-06, and one would be a 338 Win Mag for North America. Those are the 3 I would choose for North America. I can handle everything quite well with them. 243s are wonderful. Kim takes hers out and shoots it a lot. You know, the recoil is so mild and they're just enjoyable to shoot, and they're pretty effective.
How does a 243 compare to a 270? This is a Chris Yonker question.
Okay. The 270 is noticeably more powerful, noticeably bigger bullet diameter, noticeably more effective on large animals. The key to killing large animals with broadside shots is just shoot them through both lungs. Nothing can live without oxygen getting to its brain. And when you take out both lungs, you stop the breathing machine and they pass out, lay there and die. I don't know why I bought this one. I actually bought it as a stashing rifle, a rifle just to work up a load for and stash it with 100 rounds of ammo. And I've just never gotten around to stashing it. This is a Steyr, you know, and it's an okay rifle. You know, it's kind of a short barrel. I think that's a 21 or 20 inch barrel. And you know, the fact that it's all stainless and synthetic, I just thought I'd buy this, work up a good load for it and stash it. And I just haven't gotten around to that. It's always good to have a few guns stashed with a supply of ammo that are all sighted in and stuff. In case you need to go on the run, you can stop at one of your stashes and arm yourself. Another good thing to have in those stashes is a little backpack, maybe a spare change of shoes and socks, and some gold coins. Gold's a beautiful thing if you're on the run. This rifle is a real sleeper. 2 or 3 bankruptcies ago and acquisitions ago, Marlin got into making bolt action rifles. I had one in a 30-06 and this one in a 243. Things actually shoot. I mean, they're just a push feed. They were not expensive, you know, about the cheapest plastic stock you can get on them. They shoot. They have a reputation for shooting good. So it's just sitting here. It's one of my test guns, as are all of these. And it's really interesting when you switch from, say, a Steyr to a Marlin, then go to a custom-made, custom barrel. I can't remember what, I think that's a Lilja barrel. And then go back over here to a Savage. This is a Savage Model 11, which is essentially a Savage Model 110. Just another short-barreled, small little 243 with air vents in the bottom of the stock to cool the barrel. Definitely a budget gun, and it shoots good. So, you know, you win all the way around with budget guns like that when they work good. And the modern Savage, you know, for like the last 15, 20 years, has a really good reputation for out-of-the-box accuracy. Sometimes I have to tweak them, like the barrel doesn't sit centered in the barrel channel. You got to take it apart and sand out the barrel channel so the barrel's not touching the free-floated barrel, or what should be a free-floating barrel. Now, here's a very, very cool just a very svelte little 243 made by Dennis Olson up in Plains, Montana. I believe Dennis is retired now, but this is a short Mauser action. What a cool little rifle. I mean, it's really small through the wrist, it's really slim in the forearm, and it's got a slightly heavy barrel on it, so it's not a bad rifle if you think you're gonna do a lot of shooting. Like, I love to go on hikes and stop on the rim of a canyon where I can shoot anywhere from 100 to 1,000 meters and just sit there and shoot. And this rifle, you can heat the barrel up on it. I mean, it takes a lot of shooting because that is like a number 3 contour or 4 contour barrel, and you can shoot it and shoot it and shoot it and shoot it without overheating. Really a nicely made little rifle, and it's, even with the heavy barrel, it's portable, slim, not very heavy. Wonderful get out and do it gun. And you know, if people have the right kind of ammo, there's just no reason in the world not to hunt deer with these 243s, you know, out to maybe 400 yards. The beauty of the 243 is they're easy to shoot. They're generally fairly accurate. So punching a deer perfectly behind the shoulder at 400 yards isn't that hard. So what you lack in power, you make up for with very consistent, easy to achieve accuracy. So put the bullet where it belongs and things die. That's how it works. This is a DPMS. Don't ask me why I bought it. I bought it to put thermal on, and then after doing a bunch of night shooting at varmints and stuff, you know, you really don't need something as flat shooting as a 243 for shooting at night with thermal, because thermal scopes, I mean, it's really hard to shoot them out past 200, 250 yards. You're better off putting this on a 308 and getting a lot more punch out of it, because you just don't need, you can't really with thermal shoot them at 400 yards with much accuracy. Nice little rifle, just one of my little AR-10 platforms for the 243. And this all matters when we get into testing. When I develop ammo, I have to have multiple guns. The 6XC. Now, the 6XC, they were made from the ground up. Look at that. And they were made from the ground up with a faster rate of twist, a 1-in-8 rate of twist. And they were designed for, you know, 1,000-meter competition. This one is a custom-made rifle. Daryl Holland made this one for me with a medium weight barrel on it, kind of a short barrel. And you know, he just made it on a Remington 700 short action. But you'll notice how the barrel channel, if you can zoom on it, how the barrel is centered in the barrel channel. That's always so nice. Daryl makes really good long-range rifles, and I've shot it quite a bit. I've carried it, taken it coyote hunting, and just had it out in the field using it. I'm actually just using cheap bullets, Sierra 100 grain bullets in it, and just slinging them out there at around, I don't know, 3,100 feet a second, maybe 3,000 feet a second, and just, you know, Daryl put I think it has a jewel trigger in it. He did all kinds of nice stuff on it to make it an easy shooting rifle, and it is. And the 6XC is, by its case design, supposedly, you know, with the short fat powder column, it is supposedly a more inherently accurate cartridge. And I know there's truth to these cartridge designs like that, like the 6.5 Creedmoor or the 6.5 PRC, you know, short fat powder columns. You know, they do ignite probably more consistently depending on the bullet weight, the type of powder you're running, and they probably are easier to make accurate overall. But if you've got a 243 Winchester or a 6mm Remington that's shooting good, who gives a squat? I mean, I'm never going to be a 1,000-yard competitive shooter. I won't with cartridges like this. I mean, I'll shoot animals out to 400 yards, but it's got to be something, you know, that's not big. I won't shoot an elk at that range with a 243, but a deer I would. And medium-sized black bear I would and have in both cases. This one is the one that's fun to shoot because with that 70 grain Nosler ballistic tip bullet, I get 3,600 feet a second out of this rifle, and it just demolishes things. I mean, it just explodes them. It's really a hoot to shoot that rifle. Folks, I hope that this kind of outlines the 243 diameter cartridges. There's others. I mean, there's lots of others. Wildcats and different types of cartridges for different purposes. I'm a country boy. I live in the Rockies. I'm running around in open sagebrush or shooting across canyons all the time. And that kind of shooting, the 243 just shines at that kind of shooting. And I think that's what's made it so popular. It's just so versatile from jackrabbits all the way up to deer and black bear. It's a great cartridge. We will say God bless, and we'll see you on the next video very shortly. Have a good day.
And our apologies again for our live video yesterday, November 12th. Check it out under the live category. We had some glitches right after we were talking about dogmen, and YouTube has a channel called UNK, which is the unknown files about dogmen. And all of a sudden, whoop, glitches happened in the last half hour of our talks. You couldn't hear them or see them. So check out our video. It's about an hour and a half of our live, and you'll enjoy it. And you can check out that channel. It's very informative, whether you believe or not. Open your minds. It's very interesting.
Take care, folks.